you guys? It's your girl, Miss Rada Shanice, and welcome back to my channel. So, as you can tell by the title, today is going to be a story time. Yes, about the time that they sold me a lemon. I bought a lemon, you guys. And if you don't know what a lemon is, basically, it's a car that is trash. Okay, the car is trash. It ain't no good. It wasn't supposed to be sold in the first place. All right, so let's jump right into the video. So this was about 3 months ago now when I was going to purchase my first car. I was so excited to just be purchasing my first car that I didn't take the necessary precautions to buy a car. I was just so caught up in the moment and just wanting to have my first car that I didn't test drive it. I didn't take a guy with me. I didn't take a mechanic with me to look under the hood or anything like that. So basically I got swindled. Okay, so this was back in June. Okay, so almost 3 months ago. 2 months, 2.5 months, almost 3 months. So this was in early June, and I went to this place here in the town that I grew up in, and I had heard some stories about this one place. I'm not gonna say the name, but I heard some stories about this one place down here that where you could put so and so down and just pay the rest off with your payments. And I'm just like, bad. All I gotta have is that much down. I'm getting this car tomorrow. I went up to the place just to look at some vehicles, and I had seen this one car that instantly caught my attention, and I just had to have it. It was a '09 Pontiac G6, and I would say I more so fell in love with the way the car looked because it was very sporty looking. Like, I loved the overall make of the car. It was just like that. So they told me that I needed to have 1,000 down on that particular vehicle and to come back with 1,000 down, and then we can further my paperwork and stuff. So I was like, bet. That's exactly what I did. The next week I came back with $1,000 in cash, and I basically got the car. So when I got there, I basically told the person, I'm like, look, I'm back. It wasn't the same person at the desk that was there before I had inquired. So I said, I'm back. I wanted the Pontiac G6. The man told me it was 1,000 down. I got my 1,000. I got my 1K. Now I want my car. So he was like, all right, boom, boom, bam, sat me down. Me and my mom was talking to him. And then we finally decided to go ahead and do the paperwork. Now, red flag number one, you guys, was when I should have cared a little more when going to look for a vehicle, but I was just so hyped that I didn't care. So red flag number one was when they told me I couldn't get a copy of my paperwork until the next week. I seen a printer and I seen a copier and a scanner in that office. I don't know why I couldn't get a copy. I don't know, but they told me to the next week. So I was just like, okay, just give me the fucking car so I can drive off the lot and go do what I gotta do. So, yeah, they told me I couldn't get a copy. So I'm just like, all right, that's fine. I'll come back next week and pick up the copies. It's nothing. So, finished doing that and, get the paperwork wrapped up. And basically, he did my temporary 30-day tags. And that was that. We was ready to drive off the lot. So me and my mom, we get in the car, and I'm just looking at the car. I'm like holding on to the steering wheel. I'm like, I can't believe I just bought a car. Like, I just bought my first car, but little did I know, shit was about to go sour. Me and my mom, we drive off the lot, and we go home, right? So I dropped my mom off home, and then I went to go do a run. If you know what a run is, we here with it, all right? I went to go do a run, and on my way back, I noticed that the car wasn't going as fast as I knew it could, especially with the speed limit that I was doing. It just felt like I was going nowhere fast. Like, I felt like the speedometer said I was going 45. I felt like I was going 10. Like, it was just, yeah. So then it started to pick back up. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and just take it back to them tomorrow, have them look at it, because what the fuck is this? So I get home and I let my mom know. I'm like, yo, mom, you know, my car already. I'm like, my car already is like acting funny. She's like, what you mean acting funny? I'm like, it's just making like this weird noise. And then when I go to accelerate, I don't go nowhere. So I move, but I don't go the pace that I know I should be going. Me and my mom was like, all right, well, we just gonna get something to eat and we gonna drive it and we gonna see what you're talking about. So I'm like, all right, bet. So we get in a car and I go to pull out of my driveway and the car literally is cruising and then it comes, this is how the car was. We cruising out the driveway on the road now, and then it comes to a complete stop. I did not stop the car. I did not have my foot on the brake. I did not come to a complete stop. The car did it on its own. So I'm like, I look at my mom, I look back at the steering wheel, I put my foot on the gas, and it's just like vroom, vroom, vroom. And we're just sitting in the middle of the road. We're not going anywhere. We're just sitting in the middle of the goddamn road. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Now I'm blown. I'm blown, okay? I kept having to cut off the car, restart it, just so it can move, you know? So then I had to turn down this back road that's right across the street from my house and keep on turning the car off to restart it just so I can pull into my neighbor's yard, right? Pull into my neighbor's yard. I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck is going on? By the grace of God, I see my cousin driving down the street, so I wave him down. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, yo, I just bought this car, and it's already acting funny. Already. So I told him what was going on, and he said it sounded like the transmission. The fuck you mean the transmission? That's the most expensive thing on a car. The transmission? Already the transmission? So he gets in the car and he tries to start it up. It's going nowhere, you know. He goes to check my transmission fluid and he can't even find the little thing under the hood for the transmission fluid. So I'm just like, you know what should I do? Because I really, really, really like the car. But he was just like, you know, if you're already having problems with this car and it's not even 2 hours later, that's a red flag. You need to get something else. And I'm like, you know what? He's right, okay? So he was like, call him tomorrow morning and tell him come get this piece of shit. And I'm like, will do, cuzzo, will do. I end up having to walk back home. So I had to walk back home. Me and my mom had to walk back home. Thank God we wasn't far. We was just around the corner. But when you live in the country, ain't no sidewalks. So you walking on a cement back road. Okay, so we walking home. Next morning, I call the people. I'm like, yeah, so when I went to go, you know, bust a move yesterday, the car, like, it stopped working. Basically, it stopped working. It was like, is any dashboard lights on? I'm like, no, I had to park it. Basically, I had to park it in my yard, sir, and walk home. I couldn't even bring the car back home. So he was like, okay, we're going to come tow it. I'm like, that. So I had to walk back to where my car was and meet them at the place where my car was, basically my neighbor's house. So basically told them what was wrong. They was like, all right, we're going to take it to the shop. I'm like, okay. So I called them back. I was like, is there any way I could just get my money back and just trade it out for something else on the lot? Because I don't want this car if I'm already having problems with it. Like, I had just bought it and now the shit won't even move. He was like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check with the owner and see, but more than likely you can. I'm like, all right, bet. So he called me back and he was like, basically I could get my money back, but it'll have to be tomorrow morning. I'm like, okay. So basically I ended up taking my uncle and his mechanic friend. We went to go get my money, picked up my money, and we went to a completely different car lot. Like, we went to a completely different used car dealership because I was not getting another car from that one. So I took my uncle and his mechanic friend with me this time, like I should have done the first time. And we found the car that I have now. I have not had any issues with this car since I've gotten it. It's an '08 Lincoln MKZ. And yeah, she's been running swiftly. She's been running so well, no problems. And I named her Naomi. The one before that, the Pontiac, I named her Sylvia. But she had to go, sis. She had to go. But yes, you guys, that is the quick story time. When they sold me a lemon, I'm happy they gave me my money back because it was as is. So when you drive off the lot as is, whatever happens to that car is your responsibility. So I'm grateful that they gave me my money back and I was able to go somewhere else and find a way better car than that one. But yes, you guys, thank you all again so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button as well as hit that subscribe button as well as hit that notification button so you will be notified whenever your girl uploads a new video. I cannot say it enough. Thank you all so much for your continuous support. Also be on the lookout for a update video about where I've been because it's like I'm just coming up here with a story time and it's like, sis, hold up. You're not just about to roll back up in here like that. We need an explanation and you're gonna get one, okay? Thank you all so much for the continuous support, the views, subscriptions. I truly appreciate it. And I will talk to you all in my next video. Mwah.